today we've got an amazing guest, Nigel Green. I'm happy to have him back on the show because we've had some amazing conversations over the years, and this is a great opportunity for leaders in the audience to learn from somebody who really has a lot of experience in winning and failing and seeing what is real on the ground for managers when it comes to hiring salespeople. As someone who's hired before, and you go through the interview process, and in a lot of cases, sales managers are hiring because of a need. So there is some excitement when you get somebody who's into the process, and they sound good, they look good, they smell good. But there's a difference between an elite salesperson and a salesperson, even if you've repurposed people. So what is the difference that you find when you're interviewing people for sales that makes them elite versus anything else? Like, what are some of your criteria that you coach people on that they should be paying attention to?
Well, let's start with, and I'm going to rely on my sports background. I played football in college. I love football. So I use the sport of American football a lot in this book. Most hiring managers, human resource individuals, and sales managers hire and optimize the interview and screening around finding obvious talents. Okay. And so that would be things like grit, hard work, prospecting every day, make it more calls, asking really good questions. And they say, well, this person can do all that. And I go, well, yeah, that would be like Andy Reid, only the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, only caring about players that were 6'5", 225, strong, fast. Well, obviously everybody in the NFL is 6'5", 220 plus, can bench press the world and run a 4.4. But why is it that some quarterbacks end up being Johnny Manziel and some end up being Patrick Mahomes?
Right.
It's because there are non-obvious things about elite players that we have to find during the interview process. That's why you see scouting, which, by the way, scouting is not a tryout, which is what most hiring managers do. They post it and say, anybody can apply for this job, and we'll weed through all the applicants, and then we'll find the best one. And that's what a tryout is. Everybody shows up, and we'll pick the best players. Well, what if the best player didn't show up? So that's why scouting is different. Scouting is invite only. And so I want sales leaders to understand this fundamental truth about elite salespeople. They do not apply to your job. They don't. And they say, well, why not? Well, buddy, they're busy being successful at their current job. They're not looking for your job. All the candidates that are applying to your job, even the ones that are employed, are not elite. There are exceptions. Of course, everybody's listening to this and they're going to say, oh, well, what about, there are going to be exceptions. There are going to be exceptions to the rule. But generally speaking, they're busy smashing their quota in their current job, and their heads down, they're doing the work, and they don't apply. So you have to go recruit them. And then when you go recruit them, it won't be enough that getting back to the obvious versus non-obvious. You have to scout and create a combine-like experience to see them work instead of just have them tell you how they work. You have to be able to find, what is it about this candidate outside of the obvious that's going to give me confidence that they're going to not just be average, but elite in my selling ecosystem.
So when you're talking about the scouting process, what it sounds like to me as someone who prospects for new business is that it sounds like it's prospecting for new hires. How do you coach a leadership in the process of prospecting for their new talent rather than going through the tryout process, which is anybody who comes to the door who raises their hand may be a good candidate, but you have to do all the work there. How do you find the people that you're going to go scout?
You find them by, one, recognizing that asking them if they want a job is not going to be that's not like, if we're going to use prospecting language, like, do you want to buy my stuff? is probably not a good prospecting approach. Like, I don't even know that I need your stuff. So they're not even looking for a job. So you train the sales leader to find individuals in the course of their job, whether that be like if you're out riding along with a rep and you happen to see another rep that sells a different solution to your customer, making a note of that, asking your customers, hey, outside of my reps that are phenomenal and represent our product really well to you, who are some of the best reps that you love having in your office, regardless of what they sell? Who are they? So you ask your customers who they think is a good salesperson, because if they're good at selling to your something else to your customer, they're probably really good at selling your stuff to customers too. So that's the one thing you do. You ask your really good reps who they hang out with. And let me tell you the truth, really good reps, and this goes back to the non-obvious, they hang out with other really smart sales reps that don't work at your company because they want to learn from them. They want to train, they want to bounce off. They're in networking groups, they're in these masterminds, they know other good salespeople. And then the last thing is use your LinkedIn, use the sales navigator function, use the recruiting tool to look at your really good reps and say, who else looks like this in the LinkedIn profile? And then go ask them if you can share notes or if you can learn from them versus would you want an interview for this job?
I love that approach. I think it's personable. It gets you across the line with better, deeper conversations and not the, hey, do you want a job? Or, if you're ever looking for a job, let me know, kind of just that block and tackle conversation that never really goes anywhere. You had a line in your previous book that I've always clung on to, which is that good salespeople are not looking for a job. They already got one. And that's the exact principle that you're speaking to here. As far as the mistakes, so I imagine you're working with companies or with groups that may need an injection of good sales talent now, not 7 months from now, not 20 months from now. What are some of the biggest mistakes that hiring managers make when they have that need, or they have the law of need, so that the more you want something, the less likely you are to get it, and they kind of just hire somebody in because it felt good? What are some of the mistakes that they make that you should be aware of to avoid when you're in that place?
It's a great question. And I'm writing in this, in one of the chapters, it's called The 4 Rules of Hiring Elite Salespeople. We just talked about the first one, that they don't apply to your job. Okay. So I don't like these rules. You're not going to like them either, but they're rules. Okay. Break them at your own peril. So they don't work at your company. They're not going to apply to your job. That's rule number 1. The second rule is that they are the show. George Strait does not go look for another band. Like, George Strait is George Strait. Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift. Like, she is the show. Like, well, what does that got to do with hiring elite salespeople? The whole purpose of any business is to create a customer. So if you don't treat your sales team, which is creating customers, like Taylor Swift, like George Strait, then they're not going to come there. And this is how this manifests. When you say the sales team are prima donnas, or you make it really hard for them to be successful because you don't fulfill the order, or you make it really hard for them to update the CRM because you don't have all this technology that allows the data that you want from them to auto-magically show up as they do their job. Or this is the third rule. They deserve more money than you. And a lot of people don't like to hear that. An elite salesperson that is 100, 115% to plan in their current job, that's not interested in interviewing, they're not going to take your compensation package as it stands now on the promise that one day, if they're successful, they'll get back to where they are now. So you have to be flexible in designing the compensation plan for these elite people. You got to absorb the risk. If they're making 250 and you say, well, the salary is 100 and you got a chance to earn another $150,000 in commission, why would I do that? I'm already going to make 250 in this job. So you have to be able to go at risk and pay them and re-engineer your compensation plan. And sometimes for elite salespeople, it's more than the sales manager makes. It's more than the head of finance makes. It's more than your marketing director makes. And in some instances, Jed, I've had sales reps that made more cash in a year than the CEO made. Mm. And if you can't get around that, you're not going to hire elite salespeople.
Do elite salespeople make it easy to deliver when it's hard? They are out there making it rain so that you can tell that there's an elite salesperson because there's kinks in the process. They're finding them and they're getting frustrated with it, but they're making it worth your time to go fix it. Is that a good rule of thumb to figure out whether or not someone's elite?
It is. And it's how they do it. Okay, so like sales reps, we have this bad rap sometimes of leaving a wake of destruction behind us. Like they come in and they just drop an order, don't ask any, they just create chaos. Elite salespeople don't do that. They partner with operations, they partner with finance, they lead the rest of the company to say, this is what our customers want. If you want more customers, we probably should do this.
Hey, I'm doing a happy dance because you watched this video. Make sure that you click like and subscribe so that you never miss one of our amazing sales training videos.